Brilliant. Okay, we are recording. Okay, thank you so much, Kinga, for coming on and agreeing to share your time. I always love hearing different perspectives and stories and experiences of MEN1. So, if you can tell people who are listening who might not have met you, what is the story behind your diagnosis? What's your journey been like so far with this condition?
Well, my journey started actually not a long time ago. I wasn't aware of this condition that I had at all. So it all started in 2019 on my birthday night when I basically became very ill and I was like vomiting and almost unconscious. And my husband freaked out and just called an ambulance. And I was taken to hospital thinking, oh, maybe, she got drunk because when they checked the dates, it was kind of my still birthday date. And they're like, oh, probably she's drunk. Let's just do some routine tests. When they confirmed there is no alcohol, so then they asked me, what did I eat? I was like, oh, a little bit of cake and tea. We didn't do anything crazy. So they probably food poisoning. So they started testing me for anything that could relate to food poisoning. And that was also clear. So they started investigating my blood um, further. And they found that my calcium level was skyrocketing. And they started asking me questions about what have you been doing? What have you been eating? And every time I would say, like, there is nothing special. It's been always the same thing. And they said, oh, we think you might have the genetic disorder. Because on call there was an endocrinologist. He saw all the results and he said, oh, he asked me, do you have any other conditions? And I said, well, actually in 2000, I believe it was 8, I had a little tumor on my pituitary gland. And he was like, aha, so that's your first P. I'm like, a what? Like, what are you talking about? And it was really, really nice doctor. And he explained to me, I think you might have actually you might have a condition called MEN1. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he started asking me about family history. And I was like, I don't know anyone having any MEN1. We don't know anything about it. And then he asked, well, any of your parents, do they have problems with parathyroid or kidneys? And I'm like, oh, my dad has problems with kidneys. And because I wasn't speaking to him at the time much, I was like, okay, well, I need to find out. So I was discharged 3 days later from the hospital, and I wasn't still feeling well. And I was like, okay, no, I really want to go home. I don't want to be in hospital. Let's just go home. But then I had to go back because I was still not feeling well. They again checked my levels, and there was still the calcium was really high. So I was again on the drip, and until I actually found out more about it, then I knew, okay, certain things I need to avoid, like tea, coffee, and drink plenty of water. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. I'm not a big fan of water. I like water, but not that much. So then I was referred to my GP to do more investigations, and I also then contacted my hospital endocrinology department, where I always went to with my pituitary gland that I have the tumor, and they said, well, it looks like you actually all the symptoms, they're just ticking all the boxes for MEN1. So we will send you to genetic clinic to confirm it. I'm like, okay, well, that was okay, fine. I'm well now. It's fine. Just do what you have to do, and that was it. So I kind of in December they took my blood. So that was like 6 months later. They took my blood, and I'm like, no, it just doesn't feel right. I'm getting problems with my stomach and stuff. And then once they confirmed, um, I had the MEN1, and it was funny because the genetic doctor, he said to me, oh, this lady, like he said to me, but also to all the students that were with him, oh, look, this is the first symptoms, the little bumps on my nose. I'm like, oh, my dad had it, and I thought it was just a family thing. And he said, no, that's actually first sign of that disorder. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, so this is really happening. So I need to look into it. And it was the worst thing to do, to go on Google, which probably you know yourself. So I was like, oh my gosh, no, okay, so I'm not gonna live until like 50 or something. I'm like, no, 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 I can't do that. I can't do that. So actually with my husband, I freaked out. I have to say I freaked out, and I just wanted to have some kind of, stability. And I was asking lots of questions, my endocrinologist, and she referred me to Amend, and that's how I started reading more, which in a way I have to say, um, I'm still not there. I don't think I fully registered what's happening with me, because I already had two parathyroid surgeries, and I was then told I have tumors on my pancreas, and it's kind of, am I really having all this stuff, and am I actually understanding what is happening with me? I know I'm almost 40, and I maybe should be more mature about it, but I don't know if I'm actually registering what is happening to me. I'm still trying to be a little bit reserved. What those things that is happening in that are happening in my body, are they actually impacting my health? Like, am I? That's why I'm slow, and that's why I have all those aches. Like, okay, let's just take some painkillers. Just go on to just do stuff. And when I saw few of your actually few of your interviews about your what you eat, your gut health, it's slowly sinking in. Yes, if I don't eat this or this, actually it's better for me. So kind of watching your podcasts, watching your interviews, slowly helping me to understand what is happening to me. And after I had confirmation from the genetic clinic that I do have that, I literally took a screenshot, like, or the photo, and I sent to all my family members, and I said, spread the word. We all need to know about it. And it was blessing, because then my brother, he was confirmed, and it was because I spoke to his doctor back in Poland, and he was like, oh, please just tell me you've got the results, and you can just share it with me, so I can quickly identify where it is, the problem, and how to tackle it, because my brother really had problems. He still has problems with his kidneys and stuff. So it's kind of, now I understand it's an ongoing thing, and will be for the rest of our lives kind of thing. So yes, so long journey, I think, in front of us. I hope it will be a long journey, and also I hope it will be stable for some time, because every time I go to see endocrinologist, something else pops up. Can I have at least 1 year where it's nice and quiet, where I don't have to worry about anything? But yeah, now I little lump on my leg, which hopefully on Monday will be sorted. And apparently lipomas are really common in our disorder. So if I have more, I don't want to know them. So that's one thing. Yeah, but so far, I'm trying to still understand the condition that we've got, and it's a lot to take in. Especially when it's kind of still unknown, like you said, when you had interviews with even Dr. Grossman, I believe. So yes, that's the unknown. I think is the worst. Yeah.
It's a lot, definitely. as you say, the unknown, it's unfamiliar, and trying to get knowledge, I think, when it's so rare and so few people know about it, and there just isn't really the information out there as there is in other conditions. I think that can be really frustrating. And as your experience was to go straight to Google and then realize that was, not the right idea. So where, if you do need information, what do you do? Where do you go now versus obviously, Google when you first started? Is there anywhere that you find can be helpful in terms of sort of supporting you either for your knowledge or just your well-being?
So, well, the first place I go to is actually the Amend website and the Facebook, the group, and we all share in our Amend group all our experiences and all our symptoms. I also listen to your videos and try to find podcasts. Also on Instagram, anyone that experience with Amend, I would like to always become friends with, or TikTok, anyone who experience Amend, then I literally just watch their stories to see what other symptoms or what other stuff they're going through that maybe, I need to look out for, or maybe just consider next time I go to see my endocrinologist to ask questions. Oh, should I actually take care of this? Or could we have a look on, my pancreas again? What about my blood tests? Is this all clear? Do I have to consider changing something? Even my activities, do I have to consider doing more or less? Those things. And I always try to have a list of questions. Once I get there, I have the list, that's really hard. I have the list, and once they start talking, somehow this all disappears. The stress of receiving some of the information is really hard then to go back. Right, so this is my list now, and I want to ask you all those questions on the background of the test results. So sometimes it's just literally that blank head, like blank, completely brain, how to say it, brain dead, and I don't have the questions. Like I have it in front of me, but I can't ask them. I don't know what this is. If it's the kind of stress of receiving more bad news, but then not thinking they actually can be good news. So not receiving even sometimes test results, it's like, oh, that means it's good. It's good. It's good. I'm not gonna ask questions. Yeah, that's fine. Which is, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing to do, to be honest. Yes. So literally online, everything online, and trying to see if there are any new research stuff happening and see what they have to say. But the experience of other patients, I think, is the best knowledge at the moment, from what I understand. Just seeing what people are going through, although it's really hard to read some of the stories at the same time, it's just pure knowledge.
Definitely, I agree. I think when there's a lack of kind of informative research out there, for example, the next best option, and in fact maybe the better option, is experience, because the statistics and the graphs and everything, they yes, they can tell us the numbers, yes, they can tell us the facts, but actually I think it is so much easier to learn from someone else's experience and to relate in whatever similarities or differences that we might have. So I completely agree. And I know that you're a very just by knowing you before this, but also speaking to you now, I realize you're a very curious and sort of proactive person. So you like to kind of go after the information, you like to reach out to people, you like to I think you don't just sit there and kind of let the condition happen to you. You want to kind of keep a handle on it. And do you find that that makes it easier to manage, that reduces the stress at all?
Yes, because if I know that, for example, all those, let's say, aches or anything changes in my bodies, okay, so the other person has it, came out on a test, that's fine. It's, let's say, the tumor is benign, I can live with it, I don't have to worry about it. It's maybe something else that no one else has experienced before. This is something I need to be concerned and ask the questions, say, and I noticed that if you're not like your own, how to say, ambassador for yourself, this is something you just have to fight. You just have to fight and ask questions all the time. But the knowledge of, you know, certain things that are happening to us, it's the best thing, the best medicine, I would say, for stress. The knowledge, definitely.
I agree, absolutely. And stress, yeah, stress is something that comes up in so many of the podcast episodes that I do. Because obviously it's inherent in all of our lives outside of health, but obviously with MEN1, there's that added layer and made even more complicated by the fact that, there is so little information out there. There's so little that's known about it. So I think, as you say, being able to ask questions and feel like there are always options out there is a really good medicine, as you say, like a really good antidote to that as well. Was one thing I wanted to ask you about was you mentioned your brother who's based in Poland, and I know that your parents don't live in the UK. What has it been like trying to manage kind of MEN1 across different countries? Because my family and I, we're all based in this in this country, we're in the same system. What's it been like managing that internationally?
Well, I have to say that I don't have as that much knowledge, although all the test results and everything that I'm doing here, I know is helping back in Poland just to have the background so they can understand better. I've only spoken once to my brother's doctor. So from what the conversation I had with him, he really understood what was happening to my brother and how to fight. For example, the kidney stones, the constant kidney stones that he had, that never was addressed by urologists before. Why is this happening? Not just, getting rid of those kidney stones, but why? What is the cause of it? So once I knew that I had it, and then I said, oh my gosh, kidneys, they being affected because of the calcium. I'm like, this is what you should do. And medications that I'm having in Poland, they don't have that many medications to prevent what is happening to us. Like I take medication for the kidneys to prevent the calcification and the kidney stones. My brother doesn't have that. They basically just kind of monitoring, testing the blood tests and everything. So I always say, if there are any supplements, just keep taking the supplements, everything, all the information literally I share with him. And I don't think they have the support that we have here. So I think it's less support there than here. So I said that to few people that I really feel like I've been born under the brightest star. That the support of NHS, the care of NHS here in this country is just fabulous, unbelievable to compare with other countries.
I'm really glad you said that, because I think when times are tough and it's stressful, it's so easy to yeah, to sort of point the finger and to not lay the blame as such, but to feel yeah, very frustrated with the health services. And obviously there is a lot that goes wrong and it's not all smooth sailing the whole time, but ultimately we're so fortunate because, as you quite rightly said, the level of care here is phenomenal, and we have it for free.
Yes.
And in comparison to other countries where it might not be free and they may have a kind of a worse level of care. So I'm really glad you said that. I think that's something that I feel in myself as well, as, you know, instead of looking at, you know, all the inconveniences of the NHS, actually let's look at all the ways that things are working, and the ways they do help us. And that's helped me completely. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that, and about, you know, being born under the brightest star. I think that's not something that you'd catch many people saying with a rare disease like MEN1. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. I have one question to ask you before we go. Based on your journey and your experience so far with MEN1 and what you know, looking back at your, you know, yourself in 2019, what is, you know, if you could give that Kinga, that version of Kinga some advice, what would it be?
One thing is you have the best people around you who will always look after you and they take care of you, which I didn't realize. And it will be fine. You'll be okay. You have to be strong and you'll be completely fine. There is still plenty of life ahead of you.
That's beautiful. And yeah, a lovely note to end on. And I can see how your mindset and your attitude towards this condition just shines through, you know, when we're speaking about it. So thank you very much, Kinga, for your time. And I really hope that anyone who's watching this back, or listening back, can find something to relate to in your story. There's certainly a gold mine in there of learnings and wisdoms and experience. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Thank you very much.